This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
Welcome back to Black and Privileged in America podcast, Power, Love, and Money Conversations relevant to Black thriving, supported by Infinite Resources. I'm your host, Abena Sankofa. I'm thrilled today to have a very special guest with me. Joining me is Dr. Wayne Ford, a legend, a national treasure, and a trailblazer in the fight for social justice and equity. Wayne Ford is the founder of Urban Dreams, an organization dedicated to empowering marginalized communities, and a former Iowa congressman with a long history of public service. He's also the co-founder of the Black and Brown Forum, the nation's oldest minority-focused presidential forum, and a pivotal platform for ensuring that the voices of communities of colors are heard in the political process. He is also the founder of the Wayne Ford Equity Impact Institute. But first, catch Black and Privileged in America podcast on the Amplified DSM network, on our YouTube channel, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Today, we're talking about Wayne's incredible legacy. We're going to discuss the current political climate in the United States and hear his thoughts on the future. Wayne Ford, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. It's a big pleasure. I've been watching you. You've been a shooting star and just doing your thing for years, and I've been watching you, so I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. I think I'm pretty honored to have you here. I'm like bowing down. The legend is in the room.
Well, I don't come out that much, but I come out before you because you're definitely a shooting star.
Thank you. I mean, I want to say thank you for that. I appreciate that, and I want to hop right to it. In my introduction, I'm listing off all of the organizations that you found. Well, not all, because there's so much more that I couldn't list because we don't have 3 hours, because I could certainly fill up that time with your just your innovative nature over the years. But I did mention Urban Dreams and your time as an Iowa congressman. And I want to know just right off the bat, how do you reflect on your own legacy? And what do you think will be the most enduring impact of your work?
Well, legacies start when you're born. And so I tell people all the time, I'm 72 years old, but I feel like I'm young, much younger. And so the greatest compliment I get is when I'm around younger people and I talk and they feel me and they say, man, I didn't know you were that old. And that's just the greatest compliment, because when you're doing God's work and you know you're making a difference, you're always forever young. So in the 8th grade, I was told to write my obituary in Washington, D.C. You know, I'm in the inner city. People.
At 8 years old, you had to write your obituary?
Yes. I'm telling you the
wow.
story.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Excuse me. I was in the 8th grade. Okay,
8th grade.
No, that's right. And the English teacher came in and said, I want everybody today to write their obituary, because people were dying in D.C. back in the 60s, so it doesn't matter. Inner city is inner city. So I never forget this. I told Dan Rather this story. So what happened is, out the clear blue sky, my hand started doing this. And I never forget this. This is how my journey started. Now, I'd still be back in the hood in D.C. I grabbed my hand, and it didn't matter. So here's what my hand say. Stay with me. I was in the 8th grade. I'd be in the Midwest. I'm in the ghetto of Washington, D.C. I'd be in the Midwest. I'd be involved with politics. I'd be in charge of a community center. And upon my death, they would name something after me. And I remember grabbing my hand. I had no control. True story. I know there's a God. So my journey was set up in the 8th grade, and I knew what was going on because I grabbed my hand and I had no control. And so once I did that, I had no fear. So I could do what I've done. You know, I've been in all around the world and done things that very few people dream about. I do it. I'm very aggressive with my mouth because I can back it up. So though at one time I was only black legislator, and 150 legislators, only one black guy, that's me, and I felt equal because I fear no one besides God. So there's a couple of dynamics going in. Number one is legacy building. You understand this. I talk to you off and on throughout the years about, Wayne, I've been feeling this for a while. You got to feel it. Everybody wants a legacy. Everybody wants to be known. Friday, I want to be in a place where everybody knows my name. We all want that. Very few get that. So my legacy began when I was in the 8th grade, and I wrote my obituary, and I saw then very quickly. I left there in the city of Washington, D.C., and got a football scholarship to where? The Midwest, Rochester, Minnesota, home of the Mayo Clinic. Then I got a football scholarship to Drake, and the rest is history. So my dream, although I had a few other offers, but when they said the Midwest, I said, God is talking to me. So got the football scholarship. Then I'm in the Midwest, junior college football, playing Rochester back in the 60s. And then I get another football scholarship to Drake University. And that was one more thing, because I'm getting excited. In the third grade, stay with me now. In the third grade, I took the Iowa Basic Skills Test. I'm in the third grade back in the 50s in Washington, D.C. Stay with me. And I never forget asking the teacher, this is scary, but get ready. Teach, why is I'm taking a basic skill test with Iowa on the bottom? At the bottom, anybody would tell you this, because everybody took the Iowa Basic Skill Test. You look at the bottom, I saw Iowa Basic Skill. I'm in the hood of D.C. I can't spell Iowa. I don't know where it is, but I asked the question. This is godly. And the teacher said these words: Iowa, this is in the 1950s, has the best educational school system in America. So God was talking to me, and that was in the third grade. God talks to all of us, but you got to be wise to pick up on when he's talking to you. So be aware. I'm in Iowa, and I think I made my name.
I think you have too. I mean, as I'm listening to you tell this story, the hair on the back of my neck stood up, so I had to reach back and touch my neck because I started getting the chills.
Everybody can't get this, but you bring this out of me, because it takes one to know one. Never forget that.
Oh my gosh. Listen, y'all, I'm fangirling. Dr. Wayne Ford. Okay, so what inspired you to start Urban Dreams? I know you said, you just recounted to us that you ended up writing that you're going to be in charge of a community center. So what was the catalyst that made Urban Dreams become a thing?
When you're 72, you can go back and you can pinpoint everything. That's why I love talking to my grandparent. I know you talk to your grandparent. They can look at you and pinpoint, boom, 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 because they got the years. They have lived it. Bishop Dingman, Archbishop of Des Moines Catholic Diocese, Bishop Dingman, got kidnapped in 1983. I'm already working in the hood. I was in charge of the Model City Opportunity Center, Model City Recreational Center, which is now today the Grub Y. Back in the 80s, it was a recreational center, and guess who's in charge? Yours truly. I get a phone call from City Council, Elaine Simoniak. Wayne, they locking up blacks. We don't know what's going on. 2 black men kidnapped the Archbishop of the state of Iowa. They only kidnapped people in El Salvador. But the 2 black men took him, because he was on 6th Avenue, because at that time the Catholic Diocese had a home over there on 6th Avenue, off it, and that's where he was, walking around. And I told him that, Bishop, the neighborhood has changed. You can't be walking around. You can't be doing all that. I never forget. He looked at me, looked up and said, Wayne, me and God got a good relationship. 2 weeks later, he's kidnapped by 2 black men. She's on the phone. Wayne, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I got my own center. I got my retirement plan. I work for the city of Des Moines. I got my own WHO radio show. I'm on top of the world as a young black man. But I said, Elaine, if you can help me start a nonprofit, I can deal with these people. The dream, the vision. And she said she helped me raise $10,000 from the city of Des Moines CDBG money. And the rest is history, because I raised $10,000 in 1983. Urban Dreams doors were opened up in 1985. So it started because race is always involved. Let's keep it real. 2 young black men kidnapped a white bishop, and the city they were locking up people and doing manhunts, and all. It got crazy. So again, the bishop came back. The two black men brought him back, and the rest is history.
So what was the work of Urban Dreams? I don't imagine that you were in the middle of a lot of kidnapping plots.
No, but that's how it started.
That's how it started. So then what was the work of Urban Dreams after that? You
good. Oh, boy. Did you remember that, what's that movie? Say, bring me the same usual players. My whole life has been dramatic. I've been around killers and murderers and gangsters all my life. When I was young, I used to shoot dope. I used to rob people. This is my story. You know it. But if anybody don't know it, then get ready. Because, you can end up being like me, and you still have to assimilate. So the bottom line is that because I grew up in D.C. in the hood, and I've always had an aggressive personality. I played defensive tackle as a football player. I've always been aggressive. Thank God nobody didn't take me out back then when I was younger. But I was very blessed. So what happened is that I knew that if I ever have anything, I'm going to have people around me who are tough, have no fear besides God. So I was lucky enough to have staff and high staff who had similar traits and similar backgrounds. They didn't know I went to Drake University. They didn't give a D about that. I didn't go there. I'm a Drake graduate. They'd have shot me before I got the word out. But because I come from the hood and I live in a dramatic life, and my life has been saved many times. One time I sold somebody some dope, and there was a bunch of tea, and he said these words: "If you wasn't a young kid, I would blow your head off." And he opened the bag up and showed me the tea. Because when I was selling dope, I never looked at what I was selling. Stay with me. And I'm alive today because he didn't kill me. So being from that intensity, then when I get a chance, I say, if I ever get my own team, I'm going to hire people either be locked up, coming out the joint, did wrong in their life. But right now, your resume said you must be willing to change. And everybody knows this. I've hired some of the toughest people who walked the inner city in the history of Des Moines. And you know some of them now that you work with. And his name is Dennis, and you know his resume.
Yeah.
I ain't got to say anymore.
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't.
You don't leave that alone.
All right. I don't.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm really tripping. I'm flabbergasted. We don't have enough time. There's got to be a part 2.
That's why I told you that.
Yes, sir.
Because you getting, everybody can't get this, but you're going to get it. All
thank
right.
you. Okay, so I want to know what it's like to pass the baton. I mean, you took your life and poured it into Urban Dreams for how many years? 30 years?
32 years.
32 years.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, you decided to pass the baton to the next generation.
Yes.
I want to know what that's like. How did you know it was time? Because a lot of people have a hard time letting go. So what was that like for you?
That's the first time I became a mother because that was my baby. And I told my son, I said, even if I give it to you, if you do something wrong, I'm not going to like you. And I told Isaiah, I'm not going to see you for 3 or 4 years. I don't even want to be around you because I've given my baby to somebody else. So it's one of the most dramatic and traumatic things I've ever been through in my life. And when I did it, God was telling me it's about time, but I didn't know the process. So when I did it, I haven't said this publicly. I'm going to say it 3 or 4 times. I was going to call Isaiah and call the people supporting Isaiah with all this money. I changed my mind. I can't do this. I'd be in Broadlawn's nut house. I made a dumb decision. I was too fast. And then someone called me and said, you can't go backward. You can't go backward. Isaiah's already quit his job to take this job. You're getting the real deal. He's already beginning his journey. You can't go back and change. And then God said, Wayne, you got to follow that up. So it's the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. 32 years, 32 Christmases. I've hired over 1,000 full and part-time staff, 1,000 full and part-time staff, because I documented before I left. I raised over $25 million for a black man in Iowa who was chosen as his least likely to succeed in life in the high school. Of my high school class, I had 1,000 people. That wasn't too shabby. But I didn't know how much Urban Dreams was a part of me. But God had another plan, because what I'm creating now, as you know, it's going to be much greater than anything I've done before.
Can you talk about that, what you're creating now, the Wayne Ford Equity Impact Institute?
Yes, indeed, I can talk about it. Remember when I said in the 8th grade, I write my obituary, I'll be in the Midwest, I'll be in charge of a community center, I'll be involved with politics, and upon my death, they will name something to me. Well, God has allowed me to be alive and still see this. The Wayne Ford Equity Impact Institute is based off my legislation that you know a little bit about, the racial impact statement legislation that I did in I got that bill passed in 2008. And that bill bluntly is this. In the early 2000s, we were #1 in the country for black incarceration. You know this. #1 in the country. D.C., my hometown, was #2. Like, Bishop, come on. I'm drinking Kool-Aid. I'm feeling good.
Can I ask you, hold on. So I just want to clear for the audience that Iowa was #1 in the country for the incarceration of black people.
Black men.
Black men.
Stay with me. Yes.
Washington, D.C., Chocolate City was #2.
That's right.
That's deep.
Well, okay, the facts on the show. Guess
Yes,
what
sir.
I did? You got to have this thing. I go and I confront the guy. I'm out of D.C. I go to D.C., the Sentencing Project. I love it when you can document in Google. I went to the Sentencing Project. Mark Meyer is his name. And I looked at him and I said, you're an outright liar. You didn't know they had a black legislator in Iowa who's from Washington, D.C. I called him out. So guess what he said? Not only do I have the facts here, Wayne, I'll come out here and help you do something. So I was in charge of my own nonprofit, right? So I had the power to bring him out here for a whole week. He helped me write the language. We went around to the governor's office. We went everywhere throughout the state of Iowa. We became the first state in America to pass this legislation. And that legislation was based off of this. Before the governor, he or she signed the bill, he or she would know how many minorities will go to prison, how many minorities will do this or do that. If this was true, the crack cocaine and powder cocaine, when that bill came up, then they would have recognized, wow, we giving white folks less time than black people, but for the same amount. But one got powder, one got a ball. Something ain't right. They need to get the same amount of time. That would never happen because the governor would have saw the discrepancy. The description. So they would have saw the difference there. So I was allowed, because I'm been progressive, I'm from D.C. and all these things. Again, God knew what he was doing. He put me together. So I had the right place at the right time and no fear. So the Wayne Ford Equity Institute is based off a language that I did in Iowa to make us the first state in the country. And that ain't the good part. You better, just got to be around too. As of right now, and I'm going to document this. I love when people call me out. 25 states in America is trying to do what I did 16, 17 years ago.
Wow, that's impressive.
Well, you can Google all this.
Yeah. Google Wayne Ford, everybody. Google Wayne Ford. Half of the country has duplicated what you started.
Half has attempted to try.
Attempted.
10 have done it. Oh. Half have tried to do what I've done.
Wow.
And but also, the greatest thing was there's legislation in my name. The Wayne Ford Equity Impact language is Representative Torres out of New York called me one day and said, Wayne, because of your legacy and what you've done with this, I'm going to introduce federal legislation in your name. So you can Google, you all, Wayne Ford bill. It's going to pop up. Now, we got a ways to go before it gets passed. But any legislator will tell you their dream is to have something in their name. Stay with me. You can't make this up.
Why is it so important for you to see your name emphasized? And I know the answer to this, but for our listeners, why is it important?
The Bible talks about watch being arrogant, watch having your high ego, watch selling yourself, because in the end, that won't get you into the kingdom. At a younger age, I thought my good work would get me into heaven. Then I recognized that my good work would not get me into heaven. So then I switched up. So I said, me and God got a good relationship because I know I'm one of God's people. Because you can't do what I've done. You can't do it. Your resume, come on. To say I did that by myself, I'd be smoking crack. So the bottom line is that I knew that I was special, but I knew that in being special, we can get a little bit too arrogant. So as you know, because you've been around me and seen me, that I'm more humble than what people would think. If people had 1/3 of my power, I think you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I'm powerful is because I know I'm not powerful. I'm going to say it again. The reason why I'm powerful is because I know I'm not powerful. So that's the thing. So I'm enjoying these moments, but I had to recognize that I cannot take advantage of God's gift because I'm going to die like everybody else. So I didn't want to take advantage of it. So that's when I started backing up and being being more humble than what people think I am. When people really meet me, I thought you were just and you just regularly just a good old street brother who luck up and got some good blessings and know you got blessing. That's all I am. Again, I can't spell restaurant today. And I got an honorary PhD, and you know I do from Drake University.
Yes, you do. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. Come on now.
All right.
Wayne Ford, you are my hero. I have a short list of people that I admire and that I follow and that I, from a distance, I'm walking in your footsteps. And so you are at the top of my list. I tell everybody Wayne Ford is my hero. So I want you to know that.
Thank you.
So I want to move forward a little bit.
Yes.
And I want to think about the current political climate that we're in here in the United States. And I would love to know your thoughts on the state of, race relations here, our social justice issues that we have, just all of it. What do you think? What's going through your mind right now?
Well, okay. And again, I do a national presidential forum, as you know, and our last one in 2020 won an Emmy Award. And I feel good about that.
Oh, I wish you had brought your Emmy. That'll be the next time.
That'll be the next time. I got to put it in the suitcase because I'm not the. But the bottom line is this.
Yeah.
It seems to me, and get ready, this is pretty heavy, but I say this all the time, that people look at me and give me a frown. I said the same people some of the same people who made us, we used to be a purple state, now we red. I said, I go to rural Iowa, some of the same people who voted for Obama voted for Trump. I'm going to say it again, because I went right by a lot of you all. Some of the same people who voted for Obama 2 years, for 2 terms, voted for Donald Trump. So what is that telling you? We were purple, we were blue, now we're purple, now we're red. Don't play the race card. I told Jesse Jackson when he ran for president in 1984, Jesse, don't put your office in no small town. We got a farm crisis. They might blow your head off, Jesse. Put your office at least in Des Moines so we can have some people around you to protect you. The legendary Jesse Jackson said these words to Wayne Ford. He said, Wayne, I got to represent the people of Iowa, and I got to show that I can be in Greenfield, Iowa, and put my office there to let them know, number one, I have no fear, but I want them to know that I really want their vote. And he came in third. That was in the 80s. Stay with me.
Yeah.
Stay with me. So again, the same people voted for Jesse as a black man running 40 years ago? Are some of the same people. So don't play that black-white card to me. You can't play the race card. So when Obama ran, I didn't think he had a hell of a chance to win. And I said it publicly. I was a black legislator. I introduced him to my caucus. And I wasn't excited about it. I said, this man ain't got a chance to win in Iowa. But he won because Iowans are good people. Iowans, let's don't play the color game because you know I'm going. In 1914, during Woodrow Wilson, during World War I, Woodrow Wilson sent a letter out to all the states in America. And it says, the Secretary of States, I want to give a black man a gun to fight in World War I. I want what state? I can't do it in Washington, D.C., because I give a black man a gun in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, my God, they might blow up the city. But what state would let me give a black man a gun to train how to fight in World War I? Nobody applied back besides one state, the state of Iowa. 1914. Fort Des Moines is not too far from where we're located right now. So don't play the race card with me. You can do that on your own time. I'm on God's time. I'm on God's situation. So once you remove the race card from it, then you go, well, I can't play the race game. Now I really got to think. Don't shortcut yourself, you all. I say it again. The same people voted for, I know them. I'm waiting for it. I've been a state legislator. I had my own radio show. Stay with me. The same people who voted for Obama voted for Trump. So they take the race card and throw it out the window. Now you got to think. So when I did the Brown and Black, my whole format of the Brown and Black Forums of America was to show individuals that I want you to think things too. White candidates, when you come to Iowa, I'm going to make sure you speak to brown and black people to make sure their dreams can be heard. I don't care if we only got 5 Latinos here or 3 blacks. I don't care. They're just as important as anybody else. My first forum, you will like this one, was in 1984. Excuse me, my first one was 1976, we go back there later. But C-SPAN, get ready, C-SPAN first road to the White House. I'm going to say it again. Everybody think Mr. Ford must be smoking something. Let me get it out. I'm going to say it again. The C-SPAN first road to the White House was yours truly, the Brown and Black Forum of 1984, the first time C-SPAN left Washington, D.C., of my hometown. To travel outside of Washington, D.C. was to come to my event. You can't make that up.
What you and Mary Campos have done with the Black and Brown Forum has been absolutely incredible. Co-founding that organization, in my opinion, was a significant step in elevating the voices of marginalized communities in the context of political discourse. So how do you assess the impact on the forum of presidential politics today? Because I think right now in this current climate, the Black and Brown Forum could come in handy. So what do we have to look forward to?
You're good. You don't miss nothing. I'm already working with Howard University right now to develop a minority forum. A minority polling. Most of your polling, whether it's Latino, the poll Latinos, whatever, done by white people. Pew, Urban Institute, you all read. Most polling in America is done by white organizations. And that's okay, but last time I heard, I like my chicken fried. Oh, I'm sorry, that slipped out? I'm sorry. So you might know me. You might know how to talk to me on the telephone, but you ain't gonna talk to me the way Wayne Ford gonna talk to me. Hey, what's up? What's going on? How you feeling today? Because I can break it down. I can get all the information I know because I know how to talk to my people. Not knocking nobody, but stay with me. So the bottom line is, I got Howard University. We are in relationships now where we're going to develop a minority. They're already doing polling. I'm going to connect the polling to a minority, brown and black. It's brown first. I'll tell you the reasons why.
Okay.
There's more numbers. There's more Latinos than blacks. But we talk about that a little bit later. But the brown and black form is going to be connected to Howard University. We're working on some minority polling. That's all you hear now, polling. You can Google. None of those polls are organized by black people or Latino people or Asian people. So we still sitting on the sideline going, yeah, right on, ain't got no input. Yeah, good job. I don't play that.
I think you're filling an important gap in the market there. And you're absolutely right. There's lots of polling going on. We see it on the news, on every network. They have polls and they, dissect these polls and disaggregate the information. But at the core of it, none of them are originated by non-white people or non-white groups.
Ain't nothing like fried bologna or mayonnaise on the sandwich. Okay, I'm
and
sorry.
A tomato. Don't throw no tomato on there.
Stop it.
Get fancy and throw some lettuce. See, now I'm hungry.
Okay. So am I. Okay. All right.
Thank you for that, Dr. Ford. I'm looking forward to how that, flourishes and unfolds, because Howard University is one of our top-notch HBCUs. So the fact that you're partnering with them, Chocolate City again. Come on.
And you want some more from that?
Yeah.
I was born on the campus of Howard University.
Were you?
1951. Freeman Negro Hospital is what the name of it. On the campus of Howard University. In 1951, there's only one place where a black man or black person could be born. Freeman Negro Hospital on the campus of Howard University.
That's incredible information.
And then I come back 100 years later and let's work together. You can't make this up. My life was destined.
Okay, Wayne Ford. What advice would you give to young activists or leaders of color who are working to create change in today's political environment?
Well, everybody can't do this. I wanted to be Rembrandt because at one time I wanted to be a great artist, but I recognized I can't make stick men. One time I wanted to be a great athlete. I wasn't an all-city athlete good enough to get a scholarship, but I wanted to go pro. But with too many injuries, my body couldn't handle it. So I love Clint Eastwood in this movie when he said, it was Dirty Harry, he said these classic words, a man or woman must understand their limitations. I'm going to say it again. You can play with everybody else, but don't play with yourself. A man or woman must understand their limitations. Once I understood my limitations about what I can do, what I can't do, then I was free to move on, to polish what God put me here for. Everybody got a dream. Didn't the Bible say that the God was made in the image of us? Is that right or wrong? The image of God is us.
Yeah.
We are made in the image of God. Is that right?
That's right.
I think all the Bible say that. I don't care what kind of Bible you got. Well, then I look like God. So the quicker you know, don't BS yourself. You can BS your mother, BS your girlfriend, BS your boyfriend. Stay with me. Don't BS yourself. Once you find out your dream, then that way you can see it clearly. When I saw that in the 8th grade, when I knew I had no control, I said, then, get ready, world. You ain't seen nothing yet.
After so many decades of being in the public eye, you've been out here.
Yes.
You've been out here forever, just out in the public eye, public service.
Yes, yeah.
You could easily retire to Florida, whatever people do, and just chill out and live your life. Yeah. But I want to know, what is it that keeps driving you personally to continue on your work?
Well, again, it ain't done into my last breath. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm going to put a little side of that, because Sagittarius are warriors, archers, and all of that. We're always shooting, taking chances. We're risk takers. So I can put that in there. But the major thing is that I remember my grandmother told me, because one day I thought I would live forever. As a kid, I remember this because I can remember my childhood. I'm reading the Bible, and when I started reading the Bible, I knew I was different because I started from Resurrection. So I started reading the Bible backwards. I didn't go in the beginning. I went to Doomsday. Stay with me. That's how I started reading the Bible. And I started reading about, what you mean it's going to rain blood? What you mean I'm going to hear Gabriel's horn? What you talking about? There was no beginning. I'm reading the end. So God is checking me differently. I'm reading the end of the Bible. Stay with me. And then I recognize something. Wow, I'm different. I'm going to be special. So by keeping the energy and keeping this energy, you got to recognize the earlier you recognize that you are doing God's work, nothing can scare you. I've been shot at. I've been just everything. My roommate killed a man when I was in college. They wanted to kill me. I went to the bathroom after my roommate killed a man in junior college, and I sat down on the toilet. Stay with me. And right on the wall is, we're going to kill the nigger Wayne Ford. That's 1969, Rochester, Minnesota. I'm on the toilet. We're going to kill the nigger Wayne Ford. You better have your S together if you're on a journey like me. I was chosen.
If you can envision an America 10 years from now, what would it be like?
Oh, my God. You know what? After all the huff and puff is over, number one, I can go back to the bologna. I know people will make it beef, but we need to we need to stop trying to be so hard. Stop trying to be so dangerous. Because, you're going to be hard and dangerous one day because you're going to be dead. I mean, what was that guy? Red Fox did the greatest equalizer joke that I ever seen in my life, the legendary Red Fox, who I got a chance to meet when he was at Hotel Fort Demore, not too far from here, excuse me. I got a chance to walk up to him. What's up, Red? And one of his greatest things about equity was this. You worry about equity, black and white and all that. Everybody, if a nuclear war comes, everybody's going to be the same color, black and crisp. If a nuclear war explodes and we don't get our act together, we all going to be the same color, black and crisp. When he said that back in the 70s, it just gave me the situation. Man, we waste a lot of emotion on this and that and huffing and puffing. That's a waste of time. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take God first, family, take care of that, take care of your dreams, live your life, enjoy some Kool-Aid with a little bit of sugar and a bologna sandwich, and life is just as wonderful as you want it to be. I'm wearing Popeye. You see the word Popeye. Well, Wayne, what does Popeye mean? It's not about Popeye, although he ate spinach and he became strong and he had no fear. But there was another character in Popeye that I liked, and his name was Wimpy. Wimpy always said, well, I need a hamburger. I can see it now. The plate of 20 hamburgers, the cigarette, the smoker, and Wimpy would say, if you can give me a hamburger now, I'll pay you back on Tuesday. What that meant for me in so much is this. In the end, it's about aroma. And every time I saw the Popeye movie, you can look at it now, Wimpy, you'll see the aroma from the hamburgers. And I don't care who's Popeye fighting, what's going on. As soon as Wimpy come in there and there's a bunch of hamburgers and that aroma, everything changes. If we can sit down and enjoy at the table of life, stay with me as I close. It's the table of life, whether it's bologna, hamburger, tacos, Asian, tofu, or whatever. If Jesus Christ's last meal was the Last Supper, before he know that he be going being with his Father, what more symbolic do you need? The Last Supper should be your first supper. So if we can I know we don't eat together anymore. We don't go with our family. Or you in the microwave changed everything. I know there's no more Sunday meals and all that, but guess who's missing out? Your kids don't even know their grandmother's name. They came and take a handwrite. They came and write because they're on the telephone. You allow that. So it's going back to the basics. Everybody keeps saying, who's on first? Who was that? Let's go back to the basics. God made me to understand my situation. And the Last Supper, his Last Supper was symbolic. He had good wine and food, and he was with his friends and disciples. Well, then after that, he was gone.
Wow. Okay. So in the short time that we have left together, I just want to kind of rewind a little bit, and I jotted some notes from the many things that you shared. You said that a man must understand his own limitations. A man or woman must understand their own limitations.
Yes.
You said that when you're doing God's work, nothing should scare you. No fear.
No fear at all.
You said that we need to probably get back to the basics.
We do. Enjoy the sandwich.
Enjoy the sandwich. Not just the sandwich, But take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your dreams. Keep God first. Have your Kool-Aid with a little bit of sugar and a bologna sandwich fried with tomatoes and lettuce.
Oh, my God. Stop it. Stop it.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Wayne Ford. I appreciate this, and this will not be the last time.
I look forward for round 2.
Absolutely. So, as is my tradition on Black and Privileged in America podcast, I always ask my guests for a book recommendation, but I'm going to throw one out here. And I just received this book as a gift from Amplified, and it's the Afro-Atlantic Histories, and I cannot wait to dive in.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes.
So that's my book recommendation today. Thank you again, Wayne Ford.
Thank you. Power to the people.
It's been an honor to have Dr. Wayne Ford with me today, sharing his insight and experiences from a lifetime of service and activism. As I've heard, and as you've heard, his work with Urban Dreams, his time in the Iowa legislature, and his amazing Brown and Black Forum have left quite an indelible mark on the fight for justice and equality in our country. I hope today's conversation has inspired you to think about your own role in shaping the future. Until next time, subscribe, like, and share. Find Black and Privileged in America podcast on www.amplifiedsm.com and my website, abenasankofa.com. Stay engaged. Stay curious, keep striving. Until next time.